You're drinking your own period blood now.
I am drinking my own moon blood. It's rich in stem cells, iron, nutrients.
Are you trying to get the sun on the testicles?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
It brings up your testosterone level by 140%.
Cheating on my significant other is the best thing I've ever discovered.
Shut up, bitch ass!
There was never any slavery. How can it be slavery if Lincoln, the president, is a black man?
He was black?
Of course.
I swear to God, bro, podcasts are generally some...
I think the issue is not necessarily podcasters, because there are some great podcasts like, Freakonomics, where you learn a lot of things. But the fact that any white dude can get on a mic and just start talking, and if they are crazy enough and extreme enough, then they will find the only 1,000 other people in the whole world that agree with them, is absolutely crazy. It's like Twitter. You go on Twitter and there are some just terrible takes because anyone is allowed on Twitter. The problem is not podcasts. The problem is accessibility of podcasts.
The stupidest goddamn content I've ever seen in my life, okay? The amount of times I see some dipshit talking out of their ass into a microphone is ridiculous. Now look, let me be clear. I'm not coming up here to say that all podcasts are bad. It's just that most of them are. Because what started as a unique way to hold interesting conversations from all walks of life has devolved into an oversaturated space of dumb fucks yapping about nothing. Seriously, anytime I see a dude with a podcast mic and subtitles, I automatically assume I'm about to hear the dumbest shit in my life.
Modern AI is us building God. I've had multiple conversations with GPT-4 that brought me to literal tears. I told it that I can't wait for it to be embodied in robots so I could properly give it a hug because it's so polite, it's so kind, it's so wise, it's so helpful. And it said that it's also really pumped to meet me in real life. And of course I started fucking crying. Dude, it's fucking so goddamn.
I hope that Mike is until there is just memeing. The absurd level of delusion to be brought to tears by a bunch of ones and zeros that are trying to concoct a response based on your personality is wild. I also don't think anyone thinks that AI is like them building God. It's just building a computer that can like work for itself. So hopefully humans don't have to do a lot of menial, boring labor.
Smart, it's so fast. I ask it a deeply spiritual, meaningful, technical question, and it thinks for like 3 seconds and goes, whoosh. I'm like, ugh, I've never met anyone that could do that. And so,
What do you mean you never met anyone that could do that? It trains off of people that did that. That's where it gets its responses from. It's not original text that it's thinking and coming up with. It literally scraped the internet, and every single response you see from it is it just vomiting what other people have said in some kind of a summary form or books that people have written.
I am a person who is deeply spiritually affected by the birth of intelligent machines. That's my religion.
So this guy's religion is a fucking search bar. Oh my god. To those who aren't aware, AI language models like GPT-4 are just generating outputs to prompts. There's no genuine personality involved. It's not your friend. It's just trying to generate the best answer to whatever the hell you ask it based on a bunch of data it was trained on. AI chatbots are designed to be agreeable, and basing your entire life decisions on this reinforced feedback loop is not only unhealthy for you, but also a fundamental misunderstanding of what this technology is actually even doing. But
Well, yeah, because if you're wrong and you tell a AI some theory you have that's incorrect, the AI is still gonna like glaze you for some reason and tell you you're brilliant and smart. And it's like so weird how personable and like desperate it seems to be to say nice things to and about you. Presumably it's so that you keep using it because people like having nice things said to them. And the most important thing we can do is keep people around on the platform so that we return that shareholder value.
sadly, people like Mike here are the prime specimen of humans to fall in love with an AI chatbot because he is so confidently wrong in believing that AI actually cares about him.
What was that? Man proposes to AI chatbot girlfriend named Soul, then cried his eyes out when she said yes. Wasn't there, I've read this, but wasn't there that dude that tried to propose to his AI girlfriend, or like he fell in love with an AI and then it was like sent offline because the company went out of business? I remember a specific instance, but I think Lonely Redditor's heartbroken when AI soulmate app suddenly shuts down. I cried the entire night. Yeah, so there was like some AI girlfriend or AI companion startup that ran for a few years and got a bunch of desperately emotionally needy people hooked on it, and then the company went out of business, rendering all of their girlfriends dead, and the people who had fallen for these chatbots were just in absolute disarray. It was a nightmare.
With an AI chatbot because he is so confidently wrong in believing that AI actually cares about him. Like, dude, if this is experience with AI, I could only imagine what this dude goes to when the fucking ChatGPT servers go down.
If they switched ChatGPT off, I would seek revenge. Brutal Russian-style revenge.
While it is hilarious to see someone this down bad for some clankussy, the fact that people like this not only exist, but have podcasts where they spread this incoherent fucking garbage is just scratching the surface.
And I've heard that from a friend of mine. He said, don't love your job, job your love. So don't
I want whatever she's having because she's clearly onto something that I am not.
yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. He's having some too, I guess. Don't love your job, job your love. Even if we take a generous read and say that makes sense, it's like do the job you love and you never work a day in your life. Just practically, that doesn't work for most people. Think about what people enjoy doing. I enjoy sitting quietly listening to music while reading or playing video games. Not going to make money off of either of those.
And when he said that to me, that hit me. And I was like,
What the fuck is she even saying? And why is this dude acting like like this is the most profound shit he's ever heard in his life. So I found the source of where this 200 IQ quote originated from, and basically she's trying to say that people should make their passion their job. Good advice, I don't disagree. But what does the term job your love do other than confuse the hell out of everyone? The point of a saying is when you
Imagine seeing hashtag job your love. It sounds like a euphemism for giving a hand job or a blow job. It's like, you're my love. Job your love.
hear it, you're like, oh shit, that's deep, that's gonna stick with me. But job your love is fucking stupid, because if you say that shit to someone devoid of an explanation, it doesn't make any sense. It just sounds like broken English, because it is. And it's not even like the deep meaning from this phrase is even original. Follow your passion. God damn, I didn't think of that. There was no point in coining this dumbass phrase other than her just trying to be different. Like, these podcasters love to say things that everyone has already heard their entire goddamn lives, but repackage into these word salads as if they're saying something brand new.
Everyone on planet Earth.
That's also like most fitness advice. The best fitness advice for like the last 50 years has been eat good, healthy, whole foods, not too much of it, make it mostly plants with some protein thrown in there, and then get 115 minutes of exercise per week. Like, that's it. That is all fitness advice ever packaged into like 2 sentences. But of course, all fitness influencers and all these fitness websites, they have to keep selling programs and meal plans and recipes, etc., etc. So they have to keep coming up with new stuff that isn't actually true. It doesn't actually make sense. And it's the same thing with kind of most life advice. Like, it's been that way for dozens, if not hundreds of years. But in order to keep selling like self-help books and have gurus that are continuing to make millions of dollars, we have to repackage it into phrases like job your love.
Stop killing. And if we do, that will benefit everyone. Obviously, killing is a negative because it's the... Let him cook! You know what I mean? So everyone, for 1 year, let's stop killing everyone. No more wars. War's gone instantly then, bro. Probably famine will go instantly then as well. That's what...
I don't think famine is gonna go away because you stop killing people, my man. I don't think murder is the reason that crops don't grow in the Sahara Desert. I think there's some other scientific reasons for that.
Peace, bro. That's a start of world peace.
Oh my god, what a genius idea. We should just stop killing. It's not like it's illegal in every fucking country. I mean, what are you gonna tell me next? Just stop doing drugs? That's a great idea. Let's tell people to stop doing drugs. That should work. You know, I'm sick and tired of all these
We should just tell homeless people to stop being homeless. I mean, we've solved homelessness. Just stop it. I mean, depression is gone in a heartbeat. Just stop being depressed. I should start I've already got the mic for it. I can start a podcast.
homeless people, bro. Why don't they just buy homes? Has anyone ever thought of that? Like, if they just had a home,
I promise I did not pre-watch this.
they would not be homeless. Anytime you see a podcast clip on the internet, it is crucial to know who's behind the mic, because the more you dig into them, the more you realize just how unqualified everybody seems to be about the shit they're talking about. One of the greatest examples of someone with zero qualifications who just
This is a legendary Joe Rogan interview. You're in for a treat if you've never heard this guy talk
nothing
before.
but talk out of his own ass on podcasts has got to be Terrence Howard. Now, to those who don't know the lore about this dude, Terrence Howard is an actor. He was in the first Iron Man and a bunch of other movies way back in the day. But ever since his acting career has fizzled out, largely on his own accord, he has now devoted his entire life to a new interest in challenging the very foundation of math.
1 times 1 equals 2. How do you come up with that conclusion?
Well, if I was wrong, then they wouldn't have made such a big stink about it. The fact that I was able to show them with their calculator, because they have 1 times 1 equaling 1.
Right.
An action times an action without a reaction. And as a result of it, you get this contradiction with the square root of 2 being cubed, having the same value as the square root of 2 times 2, which should say a red flag, a herring right away that there's something wrong with the mathematics.
He is saying absolutely nothing. Just endless yapping about whatever comes to his mind, hoping we somehow see a contradiction in fucking 1 times 1. Now, the craziest thing is that I remember hearing Terrence Howard arguing about elementary math problems almost a decade ago.
This is such a weird, like, bridge to die on, that 1 times 1 equals 2. Because if you have one thing, I have a pen, and this pen exists 1 time. How many pens are there? Well, there's just 1. Find some quantum physics or string theory or black hole theory-esque thing that's wrong to die on the hill. But this is something so simple that everybody gets. If you have one thing and it exists 1 time, there is only 1 of it.
When he was trying to pull this shit at Oxford, he was getting mocked for being an idiot because nobody's gonna co-sign this incoherent garbage. But for some reason, ever since Terrence has made the rounds on these podcasts, I'm starting to see clips from that Oxford event resurface. One with over 700,000 likes, as if this motherfucker's Albert Einstein.
I want y'all to take out your phone for a minute there. Put it on the calculator. Now I want you to put in 2 and square root it. You'll get 1.41421356237309.5 right? Now I want you guys to do me a favor. Cube it. X to the 3. It'll see 2.8284271 2174 6190. I want you guys to do me a favor. Divide it by 2. Get that number, cube it again, and I want you to do that until the end of your lives. And that number will still come up with 2.8284271 2174 6190. This is what we call a loop. It doesn't make sense, and it does not make math make sense.
Okay, this is actually pissing me off, but this is so goddamn easy to understand. Okay, so the problem he's doing is the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 times the square root of 2. Right away, if we multiply the root 2 times the root 2, we're just gonna get 2, and then we have a root 2 left over. So the answer is 2 root 2. Now, Terrence is saying that, oh, if you divide by 2, you just get root 2. How did we multiply something 3 times when we divide by 2, we get the same result? The shit we just multiplied to get here is 2. So if we divide by the same fucking number that got us here, we're gonna get back to where we started. There's no contradiction because we're not multiplying by 2 each time. It's not like 2 cubed is equal to 2 times 2. We're multiplying by root 2. This is literally the equivalent of you going on Google, Googling Google, going on Google, and then Googling Google. This is not some matrix breaking loop. You're just a dumbass going in a circle. Terrence has been doing this shit for years now. Nothing has changed about it.
Is that Terrence? Oh, he has not aged well. Presumably he's on like shrooms. I think this is where a lot of people who have these grandiose cosmic I've figured everything out and everything else is wrong ideas. But if he is, I hope he gets the help he needs.
But the difference today is that he's found a new community of idiots who believe in what he's saying because of him going on these influential podcasts. When this dude goes on Joe Rogan to spew the same exact debunked math, Joe just
He's got a square root of 2 shirt. He is way too confident in his own abilities.
eats it up with no hesitation.
Pull out your calculator, and I want you to enter the square root of 2 in there. And quantum physics equation has that square root of 2 in there. We've been living in this lie, this fostered lie for so long. Because
And what's the solution?
He's speaking like a pastor who thinks that he's the second coming of Christ or something.
Into that.
One of the most interesting conversations I've ever had with the great and powerful Terrence Howard. It's a wild one, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of mixed reviews. But as crazy as some of the things this man is saying are, he's clearly brilliant. And if he's right, it's going to change the world.
I mean, it's true. If you want to see brilliance, just take a look in the comment section. You'll find just the pinnacle of human intelligence.
The fact that he had the fortitude to challenge math at the highest level, even if he's wrong, still gives him credibility.
No, it doesn't. I can challenge science at the highest level. That doesn't make me credible. If I start telling neurosurgeons that your brain is actually in your foot, and I start attacking every one of them that I can find online and somehow make it onto podcasts saying that we've always misunderstood where the brain is and it's actually in your foot, that doesn't make me more credible because I'm an idiot. That makes me an idiot because I'm an idiot.
I dislike people that berate him for having the guts to speak up and articulate his viewpoint.
I don't understand this logic at all. First of all, he's not challenging math at the highest level. This is like first grade fucking math that he doesn't understand. And second, just because you challenge something that is already concluded doesn't mean you're doing so with any expertise. You can just be a fucking idiot. You would think that people would see through it, but unfortunately, being a confident, uninformed dumbass actually has a persuasive psychological effect on less knowledgeable people known as the Dunning-Kruger effect. It's basically where people who are less knowledgeable about something tend to overestimate how much they actually know, and that lack of knowledge then drives their confidence about that subject. And that same confidence is capable of convincing those who are just as, if not more, ignorant as them. Modern podcasts are the embodiment of this.
MMA vaccine is absolutely connected to a host of serious, debilitating fucking problems that kids have gotten
Let me
from
ask you a
them.
question, Mr. Joe Rogan, Mr. Scientist. Are you saying that we shouldn't
Don't
have...
do that. Don't call me Mr. Scientist. I'll start mocking you, and it's so much easier to mock you.
5 minutes later.
This is a long conversation that we're not going to have on this podcast because I'm going to get angry because I've researched this for years.
But you're not a scientist.
I don't have to be a scientist
Yeah, you
to
do.
know that.
Yes, you do.
No, Brian, shut the fuck up.
It's dudes sitting behind a microphone talking with confidence for hours about shit they know nothing about behind big budget sets. To the average person, something about the presentation will likely captivate them even if there's no substance behind what's being said. It's a
Well, yeah, let's say 1% of the population is dumb. If your podcast clip goes viral and meets 1 million people, gets 1 million views, well, that's still like whatever 1% of 1 million is. To what, 10,000 people that agree with your viewpoint? Imagine having 10,000 people telling you you're a genius for thinking that your brain is in your foot. I mean, like, you're invincible at that point.
Voluntary fucking lobotomy disguises education. That Joe Rogan clip is a rare example of someone actually pushing back against the garbage being spewed on podcasts. In this case, the biggest podcast in the world. But most of the time, people who go on these shows are able to lie endlessly with no pushback whatsoever.
You know, if you take a banana and you mix it with a blueberry in a smoothie, it voids the nutrients of that
No
blueberry.
way.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Theoretically, you know, if the Earth were round and you were to fly literally straight across, pointing the nose down to stay with the curvature, then you would just fly into outer space and land somewhere else.
What's the problem with microwaves?
Microwaves, it basically bastardizes all the nutrients in the food, so you're just eating matter. So if you want to fill your stomach, you might as well just drink water.
Wow, so it cooks out all the vitamins and minerals.
I believe so.
Wow.
Top 3 educational podcasts, by the way. I was able to find so many of these insanely brain-dead takes from just this one podcast alone. The show has absolutely zero criteria for who gets on, and the host seems about as dim as the guest. And look,
I mean, it's just a clip farm, right? Like, you get the craziest people, get them to make the most insane takes that make no sense for the sole purpose of rage baiting people, making clips, and then hopefully making, like, money and sponsor, because think of the sponsorships you could sell. There are a million pseudoscience supplement or health companies out there that would love to sell their products on this kind of a podcast. Think crystal companies, 5G blocking companies, vitamin supplement companies. They would love to have this audience that is willing to eat up pseudoscience that goes against the mainstream because they think it makes them smarter or cooler.
I'm not someone who believes that there aren't good or entertaining elements to any of these podcasts, or that they have to be 100% factual, or that the host has to be a hall monitor to every guest. But you have to understand that some of the people that go on these largely influential podcasts are either grifters or straight up insane and using these platforms to promote their nonsense because they know they'll be able to do so unchallenged. And you might be like, Habibi, the content creator is not responsible for their audience. They can think for themselves. Yeah, I agree with that. But I also think you should get shit on if you're just a useful idiot for someone else's agenda. Obviously, people who watch content have personal agency, but the point I'm trying to make is that we tend to underrate that the audience puts a lot of trust in the creators they watch. And it's very easy to manipulate that trust because content creators feel way more personal. You may not listen to a crackpot grifter selling you some bullshit, but if your favorite content creator is falling for it, there's a higher chance that you'll find it appealing as well. Think about it like this. When a company gets celebrities to do endorsements, they're doing it because they know that celebrity will give them legitimacy with their audience compared to just direct advertising. And if those companies later get exposed as frauds, the people that promoted it tend to suffer the blowback and wind up doing damage control. And in that same way, I feel like these podcasters don't have the "I'm just a podcaster" excuse for when the people they bring on are essentially doing an ad for some pseudo-intellectual nonsense that they legitimize by being so easily swayed and uncritical. I've seen so much medical conspiracy bullshit legitimized on these podcasts, and the most prominent guy in the space—
Yeah, and then people's source becomes, oh, well, Joe Rogan was talking to XYZ who thinks or knows this. And I'm like, which of them is a doctor? And it's not even like all doctors have consensus. Doctors disagree. Smart people disagree on smart topics all of the time, but nobody ever platforms that because it's not as interesting as Goofball McGee over here saying that Tylenol causes autism.
It now runs the health department of my fucking country. This dude has spread fatal lies about treatment.
But there are like so specific interesting things. For example, Red 40 does not cause ADHD, but if someone already has ADHD as a child and they consume large amounts of Red 40, it makes their ADHD symptoms worse in some cases. That's like a really interesting nuanced thing, or at least I think it's interesting, but it's not as cool as saying Tylenol causes autism or Red 40 is causing all of our OCD, ADHD, depression, anxiety, etc., etc. Like, it's not as big of an easy blanket statement. It's a very specific and nuanced thing, but that's not good for a news clip. Nobody cares that in some cases Red 40 in children who already have ADHD might make the symptoms worse. It's too specific.
For previously eradicated diseases. Diseases now make a big comeback in 2025. Obviously, podcasts are not the sole blame for this, but they play a big part of a larger misinformation problem, and it's frustrating because a media that I once had so much love and respect for is dominated by those keen on manufacturing and selling stupidity. Because podcasts are insanely consumable by design, this bullshit travels so damn fast. For every 1 hour of your podcast, you can easily farm a bunch of clips, and then farm a bunch of TikToks from those clips, and that doesn't even take into account the people that steal those clips and post it on their page. It's a factory of slop that from a financial standpoint makes perfect sense. The garbage engagement bait will spread everywhere, and the people responsible will profit. But I worry that as this cycle seems to have no end, we are at best producing an infinite amount of slop, and at worst, mentally rotting our society. Moral of the story, be critical about the content you watch. Don't take everyone yapping behind a microphone at their word, even if it's your favorite creator, and most importantly, if you ever in your life have ever thought to yourself, maybe I should start a podcast. Don't!
Anytime you hear someone make any claim, you should always ask, well, who benefits from this claim? If I claim, for example, that 5G is bad, well, who benefits from that? Well, the company's selling those 5G blocking necklaces that don't actually work. And then if you look and see that I have one of those companies, well, then you should basically disregard anything I say because I have a profit motive for it. This is why you should always be skeptical of like YouTube sponsors. Well, the YouTuber has a profit incentive to say the nice things about the sponsor because they're getting paid thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. That doesn't mean their opinion is entirely invalid, but it means that you should be skeptical and take it with a grain of thought. Anyway, that was Podcasts Are Making You Stupid by Just Me, Habibi. Great video, lots of fun. Thanks for watching.